No, ma'am, that's not very, that, what? So I have a shit ton of books in my physical TBR, and I'm going to be moving soon, so I need to get through them as fast as possible, aka in the next week, whilst prepping everything to move. Okay, so just a little recap on the books we do have. I will be going more in depth on them once I get to them, to the actual book, okay? But I'm just gonna show you all the books that are in this pile. First, we have Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. Then we have A Garden Burning Gold. Then we have A Crime in the Christmas Express. We have Mean Streak by Sandra Brown. We have All Good People. We have New York at Midnight. We have two Witcher books. This is the last one and this is the one before. I haven't read these. I read the entire series, but not these two. And lastly, we have Survivor. So I have a little bit of everything here. And usually when I want to tackle my physical TBR, because this is already too much, I don't like to have more than this at a time, I usually do a blind draw. So I put the names of the books into little papers and I just pick one every time I want to start a new book. And this helps me really decide what I want to read next, because one of two things happens when I pull a name. Either it's something that I'm like, okay, cool, I don't mind reading this, I'll just pick this up. Or I'll have such a visceral reaction to the book that I'll know this is not what I want to read. So this really helps me decide when I'm looking at the pile and I just really can't decide what I want to read next, okay? So that's what we're going to be doing throughout this video. I have them here. I should have put them in a little jar, but honestly, I'm mid-moving everything, and as you can see, there's a lot of things that are missing in the background, and I'm clearing as much as I can, and I just don't have that to use at the moment. Anyways, I'm gonna be honest with you. I did this whole thing, but I really feel like reading Crime on the Christmas Express. I'm really curious about that one. I think I'm just gonna put that one back and I'm just gonna read Crime in the Christmas Express. So this was all for nothing, at least this time, okay? I have such a bad migraine right now. I'm really trying to like hold on here, but I wanna read. So I'm just gonna read the one I feel like, I'm sorry. But we're going to be doing this for the next ones, okay? For sure, but just not right now. Yeah, so this is the one. It's very small, like it has 250 pages, so we're good. Let me give you an idea of what the blurb is about. So in this is all in Portuguese, so I'm just gonna wing it, okay? So basically this is inspired by the Agatha Christie novel Crime in the Orient Express, where it's basically December, this is Christmas time, and you have all your passengers trying to get to their Christmas celebrations, all of that, and the train gets stuck in the snow. Okay, train gets stuck in the snow and there's a murder on the loose inside this train, and every time you go to bed at night, you don't know if you're gonna wake up the next morning, you might be the next victim. And we have an ex-detective for the police force in the train, and she's going to try and figure out who it is so like she can stop them, basically, since they're all like secluded in the middle of nowhere on their train. And that's basically the thing, right? Like it's just very much inspired on the Agatha Christie book. I'm really interested to see if this is gonna be good, if it's gonna be like a shitty comparison. I don't know. I read that one when I was very, very young. Like I think I read it in like 8th grade, maybe 9th grade tops, 9th grade. So I'm curious to see how I feel about this type of book again now as an adult, like years and years and years and years and years later. I'm gonna go and I'll keep y'all posted on my thoughts throughout this entire thing. Okay, y'all, I started reading this. It was around like 7:30, something like that. I stopped for like a quick snack midway, and it is now 1:30. I have finished the entire book, and I have thoughts, okay? I know I didn't share too much about it because I am honestly dying. I feel like I have a drill in my brain, especially here, and it's killing me. I've tried cold compresses. I've tried like taking it slow, but just, it's not going away. Usually reading doesn't cause me much of an issue with my headaches. It actually tends to help because it's away from a screen. Even if it's the Kobo, like, I don't know, the screen is different, usually helps, but this time I'm so struggling. I've been struggling all day, so it's just is what it is today. That being said, I have thoughts and I don't want to forget them, so I'm going to tell you them. So, first off, I want to say that the translation of this is shit. Some expressions were well done. I'm not going to say that they weren't, but like, there's a lot of like Portuguese errors. There were things that were badly written. It's like not the correct way of writing them in Portuguese. This is literally Crime in the Orient Express, kind of like, it's basically that. Slightly different, but it's kind of like the similar concept. People die inside closed chambers. No one knows how they die, and then there's a lot of people involved in the deaths. It's not just one murderer that we think is the murderer. It's a whole thing. But it also has a lot of like extra junk that we don't really need to know or we don't really need to care about. A lot of information that I just didn't connect to, I didn't enjoy. I don't enjoy how this was written either. It's a lot of tell but not show, where they tell you everything. It's like, oh yeah, this is the love I deserve. Maybe it's because of my daddy issues, because my daddy abandoned me when I was a kid and whatever. And I'm like, bruh, calm down. You could have shown that. What do you mean, like, you're going to do all the work for me? I don't really have to do any work at all. Like, it just doesn't flow naturally. Like, you don't meet people, like, out and about, and they just tell you, oh, I was raped when I was, like, 20. No, ma'am, that's not very, what? I did like one thing about this book, which is the talk about sexual assaults. So if you experience that and you might still have that as a trigger that might be triggering for you, this book is not a great advice. I wouldn't advise this for that, because I think the only thing that I really liked about this book is how it addresses SA, but from the victim's perspective. A lot of emphasis on the signs of abuse in a like romantic relationship, of manipulation, of like how the person that is usually being abused ends up trying to like spend a lot of time just trying to calm down the other person. Like, it's very obvious signs that if you've ever studied this, or if you've been in contact with it, or if you've done a little bit of research or just had a bit more contact with this type of topic, it's very easy to see where the book is going, because again, it is telling you things. It's not exactly making you think for yourself. So it's very like blatant, very direct. But I do still think it's important, because I feel like maybe if someone that's going through a similar thing and just needs it to be like smack dab in the middle of your forehead, this might be good. Also, for people that maybe went through something similar, this might be cool. I found that part interesting. Now, how would I rate this? I want to be nice and give it a 3, but I don't think it's even worth a 3. Even the part of the murder mystery just I didn't care. I didn't connect with the characters, because again, it's just too fake. So I think for me, this is probably going to end up being a 2, but I'm going to think a little bit further on this. I guess I'll think about it, but I think it's going to be a 2. They won and already have one down, so that's cool. That's perfect. Good morning, guys. It is the next day. It is currently 7 a.m. Kill me. Is my headache still here? Yes, it is. Thank you for asking. It's actually full throttle, so I have some meds I'm going to take after having breakfast. But before I go down for breakfast, I want to get a new book. I might have some time to read today, so I'm just going to do that really quickly, because I don't have time. I'm actually really late. I don't want any of the like non-fiction ones, so I just hope I get one that's non-fiction. Oh, we got the 2 Witcher books. Okay, I wasn't in the mood for like these ones to be the first, like one of the first things to read, but they're very small, so I think I'll be able to pull them off. Okay, so the first one we have is Lady of the Lake Part 2. I already read Part 1. I didn't know Part 2 was already out. When I found out, I was like, okay, this is definitely for me. The Part 1 book is a lot prettier than this. The cover, juicy. It's kind of similar to this one, which is the one that comes next, if I'm not mistaken. Digital art, like you can tell that it's fully digital art, versus this that looks like a photoshopped photo. So I don't know. I like Part 1, the cover of Part 1 better. So this is the one I'm taking with me today. This is the one we're going to read next. So yeah, I'm off. Buenos dias, peeps. So as you guys saw, I started the book last night. So yeah, I spent the entire day without reading, and I should have, because I did have a lot of procrastination done yesterday. I am currently at page 42 in the book. Okay, just about yay much was read yesterday. Just wanted to give you guys a little update, and I will be keeping you updated. So we need to stop being like this, because this is becoming embarrassing. Okay, it's literally late at night, and I have read nothing since I last saw you. Nothing. I'm still same spot, haven't read a word. To be fair, I'm also the designated driver these days, so there's really nothing I can do about that. But I decided to come here before I read anything, because I have bad news. We have 2 more books to add to the TBR. You know, the TBR I'm not supposed to be increasing because of my move? Yeah. We have 2 more books. It's technically not my fault, and let me explain why. I had no intentions of walking into FNAC. I had no intentions. I especially had no intentions of seeing beautiful limited edition ones. But even after seeing them, I was like, you know what? Gotta be mindful. Gotta be demure. Cannot touch these. Until my mom was like, have you seen this one? I'm like, yes, Ma, I have. You know, it's in Portuguese. I don't want to read it in Portuguese and whatever. And she's like, have you seen the spread edges? Yes, Ma, I've seen the cute ass bats in red that is like absolutely gorgeous perfection. And also like the 3D glossy ad of the wings. Yes, Mom, I've seen them actually. She's like, you don't want it? I'm like, yeah, Mom, it's in Portuguese and stuff, you know. And she's like, but I'll give it to you for free. And I'm like, you know what? I actually might want it, because free books is something I'm never going to say no to, okay? Cool. So she gave me Dracula. And to be fair, I have never read the Dracula book, like the original one. So I'm really excited to read this. I am, although, scared because last time I read one of these classical books, I really didn't like it. I was disappointed with all the racism and xenophobia. So I just hope I don't get disappointed by this one in particular, okay? The Witcher came out with a new book this year. It's this one. And it was 10% off. And I looked at it and I was like, fuck, I don't have this one. I actually need it. I need it. Geralt is very young in here, okay? He's very cute, very young. And so now I have not 2 Witcher books to read, I have 3. Although, it's kind of, the timing is kind of nice because I am currently reading the Witcher books. So I'll just, read this one too. Might as well, get all 3 of them out of the way. I'm gonna go and hopefully read. Guys, I just finished The Lady of the Lake Part 2. I don't think you'll understand how fucking confused. I literally feel like that meme where it's like, you're confused, I'm fucking confused. You know what I mean? Because, like, I went into this book thinking, right, that this other book was the next part, and then thinking that this was the prequel. But that is not the case. So I finished this book, and tell me why it was an actual ending. I was like, what's happening here? How is this going to continue? Because it felt like all the dots were being dotted, all the T's were being crossed, all the I's were being dotted. Like, I'm so confused, right? So I had to go literally back to my Witcher collection to understand what the books were. I had to go to Goodreads to, like, literally check that I had every book and, like, where are these books supposed to be fit, right? And so I've come to realize that I was under a mistaken idea. If you've ever read the Witcher series, you'll understand how fucking confusing it is because the publishing order isn't the right order. He goes back and forth a lot, and like when you look at the whole series, you think, oh, this is the whole series start to finish. It's not. Like the main series is considered the main series with a lot of the prequels and little stories in between. This is the end of the story. The story's ended. This is it. This is, and I have thoughts, but I will get there. Now this one is before all of the other books that have been released. This one is before that, right? And this one is before this one. So this is 1, this is 2, and then the rest of the books I have, and this is the last one. So I should have read this in a completely different order. Now, going into my thoughts on this thing. So initially I was bored out of my mind because we just got a lot of like war and like battle information and what happened in the war and how they organized and the troops, a lot. And even for me that I'm familiar with the story because I've read it, right? I've also played the game. So I'm very familiar with a lot of the characters, a lot of the wishes, a lot of it. I also seen the series, even though like I haven't seen like the last 2 seasons, but that doesn't matter. So I have an idea of who every player is in the story, right? But still, it was still confusing to me and it was kind of boring. And then like about like you get a little bit of Ciri and Geralt and Yennefer and the other friends. I hated what happened to the friends. Okay, I like the vampire a lot too, so I really hated that part. I really like the vampire. At least the dwarves are okay, but like I like the vampire so much. I don't think y'all understand. Anyways, and then we go and you have a whole different perspective of other characters, a lot of other information. I'm like, okay. And then you go back to Ciri, Yennefer, and The Witcher. And the thing is, I think I would have enjoyed this book a lot more if it was mainly centered in those 3 characters, or at least other characters. But the first part about the war, even though I found it interesting, and he did do it in various like where you had to piece what happened through various different POVs, kind of sorta, it was just too clunky. It was too chunky, it was too dense, and a lot of names, a lot of titles, a lot of lands, a lot of kings, a lot of duchesses, and it was just excessive. There was no need for that much excess. So I think I would have liked it better if it was more centered in the characters we already have a connection to and that we want to say goodbye to, if this is goodbye. Okay, if it's gonna be goodbye, at least give me time with my characters. Let me have fun. There is this big bad prophecy and she's supposed to save the world because of this prophecy. So what about it? What? Because no one fulfilled it. It was not fulfilled, right? Like, yeah, the game kind of follows through with that part, but like, where's the rest? Where's the prophecy? What happens to the prophecy? We don't have an answer to that. Like, what happens? We don't know. Also, that fucking wizard, Villager Forge or whatever the fuck, I wanted to stab him so bad. And then her father, which I already knew who he was. If you played the games, you already know. But like, her father, what do you mean you intended to do this? What do you mean this was your intention? Ew. Ew. I understand he didn't actually do it, but like, he was planning to. Like, what? I don't know, I have a lot of questions. I don't like this ending. I really don't. Like, it's not that I find that like it's a bad ending, but it's just there's so many open questions, and I want to see Siri as an adult. Like, she started this whole adventure very, very young. So even if this was like 5 years, she's still not an adult. And even though it's kind of questionable how old she is, she's still not an adult. No matter how much you want her to be, she's still not an adult. So I really wanted to see her as an adult and growing up and all those things, and I didn't get to see it. And now she's just in a different place. Like, fuck off. I want more. I was hoping I could see like game series, you know? That's on me. It's not on the author, obviously. Especially because this book has been written in for a while now. But like, I was just hoping to see her as an adult, this badass, you know? And using her powers a bit more. I thought there was gonna be more. I don't know. Well, I think I'm gonna start off with this one.
Hey y'all, good night. Today is day 4. Okay, it's Monday night, and I'm whispering because my mom's asleep in the next room, so I don't want to wake her. So today we're going to finally tackle another Witcher book. This is the first prequel we have, and then I'm gonna read the second one. So it's more of like in a row story-wise. I'm really excited to read this. I'm gonna sit down, read for a little bit, and see how far I can go. I'm hoping, praying for half of this book, but if I could finish it today, I would, honestly. But at least half of the book, I'm praying for it, so I guess we'll see how much I can read.
I finished it. Everything is done. And I'm really glad I was able to finish it. But yeah, this one was a pretty good book. I'd say it was like 3.5, 4 stars maybe. We go over Geralt's first like year, maybe 2 years of being a Witcher. All the shenanigans he got himself into. It was like 2 to 3 years, I think. All the friends he made along the way, a mentor he found along the way as well. And it ends in vengeance, which is pretty cool, honestly. I think we get to see him go from this gullible child to this like renowned Witcher that is now having effects into other people's lives, and like affecting other people's lives and affecting a lot of like important people as well. And you know, his name is now getting around. Yeah, it's very interesting. I really liked it. I really did like it. I do think it could have been more exciting. That's why I'm saying like 3.5. Now we're gonna go to the next one. And I see J-Skew here, so I'm really happy, and I hope I get to see how they actually meet, because I think this one should have the exact way they met. That would be so interesting. I'd be so excited. So yeah, I also think like this being number 1, number 2, like, you know, not exactly number 1, number 2, but like, you know, the beginning of the story, it's really interesting. But I don't think if you were to start the Witcher series, that this would be the way, you know, not for the first time, because I don't think you'll connect that well with the characters, unless you've watched the series or played the games. In that case, you probably will find this interesting. But if you're just coming into this like completely blank, then I don't know if this would be the right sequence. I think you should start with the main story and then complement it with these ones. But yeah, me saying that's what I've been doing with this one.
is going to be, but you know what I mean, I think. But I do have one thing I will say that I hate. So every single book of the series, I have all of them at this point, are like this. As far as like this, you have the name of the author and the name of the book. Why does this one have the name of the author and the book here, and then a drawing here? What's this? It's the same publisher too. What's this? See what I mean? It's ridiculous. You could have done better. And I'm telling you, every single book of the series looks like this one, and now I have this one. It's not even gonna be the last book of the series. It's literally the first book in the entire series, and it's gonna look like crap. It doesn't make any sense.
Hey y'all, it's been a while, so let me update you a bit on what's been going on. So it's currently Friday and I've barely read the last 2 days. I am still in this book, okay? And I'm about yay much. Yeah, I still have quite a lot, and I'm gonna be honest, the other day I tried reading this and I just fell asleep because I've been so tired, so busy with the move. It's like I have so many tiny little things to take care of that I haven't had time to do much. I even wanted to vlog this entire experience, but I haven't even had time for that, to be completely honest. It's just been a bit chaotic. Also, have you seen my hair? It was supposed to be this like violin color, which is like a purpley reddish color, but it ended up being like burgundy. You can't really tell, can you? Not really. It's like, but yeah, I dyed it, okay? I dyed it. I also cut it. I added more layers to it because my layers were rather long at this point because my hair had grown them out. So I added a few more layers, so I feel like it's curling a bit more. And I have bangs now. I added a few bangs. These bangs are just for like, if I want to like put my hair up, you know, like a messy thing. And I have like framing layers. I really like to have these, but I can't make them too short. I know a lot of people would have them like the yay big, and that's really cute, but that will be in my eyes and I cannot handle that. It needs to be able to go over my ear, so I don't have to deal with them on a day-to-day basis. But they still look cute if I have them out or if they like escape my ears or something. So I also did that. I did that myself. Yeah, that's also the news. I've been busy, so now I'm gonna go and hopefully finish this bitch, and I'm gonna stop the video here. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not even gonna try.
Okay, y'all, it's the day before I leave and I finished this book last night. Yes, I finally did it. I pulled through and I'm gonna give it, I think, a 3.5. I don't know. I'm still kind of contemplating because I feel like when I first read the series, I was a lot more into it than I am now. But also, I've already finished the main series. These are extra books. So it's kind of, you know, yeah. I do think this book might be better read as the last one in the series, not as like the second one if you're reading like the series with the other stories in between, because of the last chapter. The last chapter kind of complements what happens in the last book of the main story, so I do think this one should be read last. I don't have much to say about this one. This one, we were running around trying to find his swords, and it was just so random, such randomness, and it's like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this to get to this, to get to that? Like, why can't we just go get the swords? Why are we running around in circles? And I don't know what the point is. I don't know. It wasn't my vibe that much, but I still liked it because it was The Witcher and because of the characters that it involved. But still, it wasn't my favorite thing. So I think I'd give it like a 3 stars maybe. That's why I'm like saying I don't know, because like I can't decide between 3 and 3.5. I think it's gonna be a 3, but I'm gonna have to think a little bit more on it. I did like this one better than the last book of the series, of the main one. I didn't like it as much as the previous one I read, so I don't know. I'm still processing. I don't have a lot of time to process it either, so I want to give myself a little bit of time before I make a decision on the stars of these books. Okay, that being said, I'm stopping the challenge here. So this is our goodbye, okay? Because let's be honest, I'm not going to be able to make a dent on my TBR any further before leaving tomorrow. I won't have time to read today. I'm actually about to leave because we have to go to Lisbon to do a thing. And so when I come back, it's just the last minute packing and leaving everything straight. I also want to wash my clothes so I don't leave my mom with my dirty laundry that I'm leaving behind. So there's still a lot of things I have to do today before I go to bed, and then tomorrow is just running around saying goodbye to people, and going to the airport. So I won't have time to do any of it. So I'm gonna have to leave them here, and then I'll figure it out. One day I'll read them. I'll just leave them here. Ta-da! It was $4. It was just $4. Okay? Yeah. I will admit that because I chose The Witcher after, I think it got me stuck because I was having a hard time reading them. I do think it's also because I was reading them in Portuguese. At the time that I read the series initially, I was mainly reading it in Portuguese, so it didn't make much of a difference. But now I mainly read in English, and now going back to reading the like fantasy in Portuguese is just, it's not giving. The expressions just don't translate well. And I know that the original author writes in Polish, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I think it might be like the Polish version is translated to English and the English version is translated to Portuguese, because some of the expressions here, I could automatically translate them in English in my head and they would sound so much better and not so corny or so, so meh. So I think that was what lost me here. And then we had this one also. What the fuck was this? What the fuck was this? This was a waste of my goddamn time, let me tell you. This was a waste of my goddamn time, my money. Luckily, I bought the second hand, so it was like very cheap, but still, god damn it, I was so disappointed with that one. And these ones were kind of a trip. I really love the fact that I was reading about The Witcher. That part I really love. I love being back in this world, and I was also constantly like picturing images from the series and from the game and from like the original thoughts, like. But yeah, that's it. I'm not gonna prolong myself much more because I honestly don't know what to say. Okay, this is also going to be, you're going to be watching this after I'm already in Poland, because I know I don't have time to edit, I don't have time to do anything. So I just hope you like this messy vlog. It wasn't as vloggy as I wanted it to be. I wanted to share a lot more of the experience with you guys, but I just didn't have the time. Like I overestimated how much I would be able to do, because I was just like, I have to do it. There's no way around this. I have to do it. And then I would just knock out at the end of the day and just knock out and couldn't do anything. I would fall asleep. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to keep up to date with me and my day-to-day shenanigans, TikTok is a place to go. If not, then I'll see you next week here on the channel. You can subscribe, you can like if you like, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.